Cambridge Dictionary's latest editions include some words your kids might call pretty skibbity. The dictionary adding 6,000 new words, including many social media terms. For those of you not chronically online, here's what some of those mean. Cambridge defines skibbity as a word with several meanings, such as cool or bad. It's sometimes just used as a joke with no real meaning to it. Tradwife is short for traditional wife. It was popularized by social media influencer Hannah Nealman. The term refers to a married woman who embraces traditional gender roles. Delulu is a play on the word delusional, and look is a twist on the word look. You can see a different spelling there. It's typically used when someone is wearing a particularly eye-catching outfit.